Jungkook refuses to return to BTS's dorm after military service. Doesn't he want to live in the group's shadow anymore? Is this the start of a full separation? The silence from HYB makes fans more uneasy as Jungkook chooses a solitary path post-military. What's really going on behind the scenes? Why would the youngest member of BTS, once the heart of the group, cherished by millions, choose to walk a different road after returning from military service? Why now, when the entire world was waiting for the iconic reunion of BTS in one shared space, did Jungkook make a move that no one expected but many feared? Sources close to the matter have revealed that Jungkook has made a firm decision not to return to BTS's shared dorm post-discharge. The decision has shaken not only fans but even those within the entertainment industry who believed that BTS's unity was unbreakable. Is this a sign of independence? Or is it the beginning of the end for the group's brotherhood as we know it? After more than a decade of sharing almost every waking moment with his bandmates, from cramped practice rooms to sleepless nights in dorms, it appears that Jungkook no longer sees the communal lifestyle as fitting for the person he's become. This move isn't just logistical, it's symbolic. It's personal, and fans can't help but ask, what happened while he was away? Multiple theories are flooding social media, but the one rising to the top is also the most painful. That Jungkook, who always respected the team dynamic, may no longer want to live in the group's shadow. He has carved out a name for himself as a soloist, successful, versatile, powerful, and now he might be drawing a bold boundary between his past as Golden Magne and his future as simply John Jungkook. When he began his military service, many expected that time apart would only strengthen BTS's bond. But what if the opposite happened? What if silence allowed space for reflection, and distance made the dream feel like a cage? The decision to live alone was, reportedly, made quietly, without an official announcement. But that hasn't stopped fans from noticing that BTS's dorm remains one room short. Jean, RM, J-Hope, and the others have all resumed some sense of shared life post-service planning. But Jungkook? He's nowhere to be seen. Instead, he's been spotted near a sleek apartment complex in Seoul's affluent Fandom district, the same area where other top celebrities reside. Alone. Was this always the plan? Or did something change in the final stretch of his enlistment? Some insiders whisper of disagreements between Jungkook and the management about the expectations surrounding BTS's return. Others point to subtle shifts in his tone, his interviews, his lyrics, hints that he may be aching for freedom, control, or simply space to breathe. More than just a physical move, this could be the quietest but most significant declaration of autonomy yet. Choosing to live separately sends a message, and not just to HYB, but to every member of BTS and every fan around the globe. It says, I love the past we shared, but the future I envision might be different. But can this decision exist without consequences? BTS's brand has always been about unity. The dorm wasn't just a roof over their heads, it was a symbol. Their togetherness, their brotherhood, their shared sacrifices and victories. The decision to step away from that could very well challenge the carefully preserved image HYB has built over the years. And for some fans, the symbolism is heartbreaking. While no official statement has been made, silence in a moment this loud is its own kind of answer. If everything was fine, wouldn't HYB have reassured the public? Wouldn't Jungkook have clarified his stance? Instead, the company appears to be staying behind the curtain, letting speculation swirl. It's not the first time Jungkook has shown signs of wanting to stand alone. From his solo releases to his personal live streams, his recent work reflects a man who's trying to separate himself from the brand he helped build. In one interview before enlistment, he even confessed that being part of something so massive could sometimes make him feel invisible. Could this new chapter simply be him choosing to finally be seen as himself? What's even more telling is the emotional silence from the other BTS members. No posts, no words, no visible interactions about the dorm change. Armies who once celebrated every meal shared by the group now scroll in vain for any sign of a reunion, even a symbolic gesture. Taehyung, who often publicly supported Jungkook's independent streak, hasn't commented. Neither has RM, the leader who once said the group's strength came from their shared roots. Has something ruptured that can't be undone? Notably, fans are divided. Some applaud Jungkook's choice, calling it a bold declaration of personal growth. Others beg him to reconsider, worried that the space between him and the group is becoming too wide to close. And some fear the worst, that this is just the first of many solo steps to come. This development couldn't have come at a more emotionally charged time. BTS's contract discussions are reportedly underway behind closed doors. If Jungkook is already building a separate life, will he be the first to step away entirely? And if so, how will HYB respond? Could this be a test of loyalty or a statement of quiet rebellion? In many ways, this is uncharted territory not just for BTS, but for the entire K-pop industry. No group has ever achieved the global status BTS has, and no member has ever held such individual influence while still being a part of a team. Jungkook's decision is not just personal, it's historic. Every move he makes could ripple outward, changing how idols navigate freedom, fame, and group dynamics for years to come. And yet, for all the speculation, only Jungkook knows the truth behind this choice. Is it peace he seeks? Freedom? Healing? Or is this the first silent step towards something even bigger than BTS? A new era defined not by fandom expectations, but by personal truth. For now, one thing is certain. The dorm is missing a heartbeat. And until Jungkook speaks, the questions will only grow louder. And then there's the emotional weight no one wants to admit. What if this isn't just about space? What if it's about survival? Jungkook has lived under the microscope for more than a decade. From his teenage years to early adulthood, he wasn't allowed the privilege of private growth. Every mistake was dissected, every silence interpreted, every friendship scrutinized. Perhaps this decision isn't an act of rebellion, but a cry for normalcy, a plea for boundaries, a way to reclaim a version of himself that was lost somewhere between rehearsal rooms and sold-out stadiums. Some armies recall past interviews that now feel like puzzles waiting to be solved. There was the time Jungkook hesitated when asked if he could see himself still being part of BTS in his 30s. The time he smiled but said nothing when a reporter asked whether solo life gave him more peace. The time he joked about buying a place for himself and hiding away from the world. We laughed then. But are we laughing now? The dorm was more than a home. It was a ritual, a constant, a comfort. But for Jungkook, maybe it became a reminder of everything he had to compromise. The version of him who laughed freely, created without deadlines, and lived without curated perfection may have faded somewhere inside those shared walls. And now, the distance might be the only way he knows how to breathe again. Even those within HYB, according to whispers from industry insiders, were caught off guard. Apparently, the company had long prepared for a grand reuniting moment, a campaign, a behind-the-scenes documentary, a Return of the Kings-style celebration for the 7 members to move back in and restart the BTS engine as one unit. Jungkook's refusal reportedly disrupted everything. Marketing had to be scrapped. Filming schedules postponed. Staff assigned to the dorm project were quietly reassigned. And still, no press release. No denial. No warm reassurance. HYB's silence is increasingly being interpreted as passive confirmation. They're not controlling the narrative, and that in itself feels deafening. Why wouldn't a company known for aggressive brand management step in to ease fan worries, unless there's nothing they can say that would undo what's already unraveling? The mood among ARMYs ranges from confused to devastated. On fan forums, the most heart-wrenching comment making round is this: "I supported Jungkook all my life, but now I feel like I don't know him anymore." Others jump to his defense, insisting, "Maybe he needs this. Maybe we owe him the space to find himself again." And then there are the few who ask the question many are afraid to voice. What if this means he's planning to leave BTS completely? If Jungkook doesn't want to live with the members, does he still want to be one of them? Can BTS remain BTS without the physical, emotional, and symbolic bond of togetherness? If the glue starts to loosen even a little, what keeps the pieces from eventually falling apart? Every detail now feels like a clue. His latest solo posts speak more about self-reflection and creating something purely his own. He's reportedly hired a new team of stylists and musical collaborators, separate from HYB's in-house staff. He's been seen at events alone. His face is more serious, less filtered. His presence more deliberate. It's no longer Jungkook, the youngest of BTS. It's Jungkook, the artist. The man. The individual. What complicates the story even more is the timing. BTS is slowly marching toward their full group comeback. The stakes have never been higher. The world expects a thunderous return. But instead of unity, fans are receiving signs of fragmentation. If the center of the group, the heartbeat many consider to be Jungkook, is taking even one step back, how does that affect the rhythm of everything else? There's also the question of loyalty. Not just between members, but between Jungkook and HYB. The company built him, promoted him, protected him, at least from the public's eye. But now, could there be friction between the idol and the machine behind him? Rumors persist that Jungkook has been pushing back against several of HYB's plans. Disagreements over music direction, over branding deals, even over the timing of certain announcements. If this move to live separately was the first domino, fans wonder what the next one will be. A shift in contract terms? A restructured role in the group? Or worse, an official break from BTS entirely, and yet, with every question, Jungkook remains silent. His silence, ironically, says everything. It gives fans nothing to hold on to, and everything to fear. The emotional toll on the fandom is evident. For a group whose motto has always been together, the optics of separation are hard to swallow. The sense of security that BTS was not just a brand but a family, untouchable and eternal, feels shaken. And no one's quite ready to accept that reality might be different now. Is Jungkook breaking free or breaking away? Only he knows the answer. But until he speaks, until he addresses the choice not to return to the dorm, fans will be left piecing together a puzzle made of silences, sightings, and suspicions. And the question that keeps echoing across every platform, in every language, across continents and timelines is this: is this the beginning of Jungkook's solo era, or the beginning of the end of BTS as we know it?